Next up on Wicked Wheels TV, we check out a custom-painted VW Jetta, which pays homage to the cult classic VW Harlequin.
Wow, Matt, this is a really wild car.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's a 2003 Jetta. I painted it to look like a Harlequin Golf. I'm never going to be able to afford one, so I decided to make my own, and I always wanted a patina car, so I made it look a little crusty, rusty. It's my daily driver, and I drive it around day to day, and it turns heads and breaks necks, and it's the best thing, man. It's just so fun.
Wow. And what do people think when they see you in it?
It's a love or hate it sort of car. They either just lose their mind or they tell me that I'm stupid.
And of course, you don't care, do you?
I do not care.
You do not care.
It's for me and my kids, and that's what this car's about.
Yeah, and what do your kids think?
They love it. They think it's the best car ever.
Yeah, they probably think it's a bit of a toy almost,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So Harlequin, tell me a little bit about that. What is that all about?
So the Harlequins, they made 264 Golfs for the States. They made a bunch more Polos in Europe because they sold better over there. But they didn't sell real well, so they didn't make a lot of them. They actually ended up painting a bunch of them because they weren't selling. So they're very, very rare and very, very sought after and just almost impossible to get a hold of. I will never own one. They're that rare, so.
You've taken it to a few shows, I think, this year. So you've only had it since the summer, right? With the paint job?
Yeah, I painted it in June, and I've been hitting shows since.
What kind of response have you gotten from them?
A lot of love and hate. German guys love it, the classic guys don't. Some guys get it, but a lot of people don't like it, but that's okay.
Does the car crowd know what this is, or do you have to do still a lot of explaining?
I still have to do a lot of explaining because most people don't know what the Harlequins are. But the guys that do, they lose their mind. They're like, oh my God, is this a real one? And I'm like, no, it's not a real one. It's a replica.
I almost thought it was real when I first saw it, right? Because I didn't realize, it was exclusive to the 96 Golf.
Yes.
And of course, the 95 Polo in Europe.
Yes.
But this is actually, in fact, what was it,
2003.
2003 Jetta.
Yes.
The inspiration for the Harlequin came in 1964 when Volkswagen ran an ad stating that their Beetles were so modular that any part from another Beetle across many years could be used to replace a damaged part. This mosaic color look eventually made its way to 3,800 European market VW Polos being released in 1995, and then 264 Golfs being released in America the following year. McDonald's Germany celebrated their 25th anniversary in 1995 by holding a contest for a chance to win one of 500 Polo Harlequins. The car took its name from the Italian clown-like jester from the 16th century who was engaged in good-natured joking and amusing tricks performed in pantomime slapstick plays. The official colors chosen were Tornado Red, Chagall Blue, Ginster Yellow, and Pistachio Green. At least 118 of these American release cars have been accounted for and registered on the website rossvw.com. The 5-door hatchback with 5-speed manual transmission had custom fabric interiors. While the cars become a cult classic, with limited numbers they are hard to come by. 25 years later, the Dutch division of Volkswagen released a one-off model to commemorate the anniversary. And then in 2024, Volkswagen played a joke, suggesting that an ID.3 electric Harlequin would be released.
How does it work with the painting of these cars?
So originally they would have started with, they started 66 of these cars in the original colors, so this one would have been a yellow. And they took the panels off of the other cars and they swapped them around in a specific pattern. They all followed a very specific pattern. and they'd swap the red doors on and the green doors on, and then the blue fenders and the bumpers would have been changed. And that's how they did these cars originally, so they were very, very unique because they were so oddball looking and just absolutely unique. Nothing else had been made like that before.
You did this paint job yourself?
I did.
And so maybe tell me a little bit about that. Like, I guess you do this for a living?
I do this for a living. I'm a collision painter mostly. We do wrecks and stuff like that. So I bought this car and it was silver, and you can see some of the silver showing through in some spots. It looks like bare metal. I went around and I hit a few spots with some rust red, and then I went back and I painted the car in the multicolors and wiped some spots off, and then sanded it back, and I have about 250 hours in the paint job alone.
Wow. Well, I mean, you can see in how you kind of finish it. I mean, it looks like, did you scrape some of this down?
It's all just sanded down.
Just sanded down. So big, like this is the rust, I guess, or what color?
That's silver, and then I airbrushed a little bit of brown over top to make it look rusty.
Make it look rusty. And then what about the black? Is that like a layer above the?
So I painted the whole car black before I painted it the multicolored, so that I could sand it back and give it the patina look.
I see. Okay. Wow. And then obviously you must have just did this on weekends and evenings or something like that?
Yeah. It was all on my spare time. So we'll start right here. This was actually a mess up. The paper from the window fell down and pulled all the red paint off, and I just left it and sanded it back. Under here, this is all fake rust. It's all airbrushed on and sanded back. Same with here and up here. I tried to match where one of these Volkswagens would actually rust so it looked more realistic. We got a couple spots up in the roof where they look very realistically rusty. The rust strips down here, I have headlight covers to give it that stock car look. Because if you look at the bumper, it's very NASCAR-esque, the hood pins and the spoiler, and then I figured less headlights, so it looks more race car-y, so I need covers.
How does it perform?
It performs pretty well. It's mostly stock underneath. It drives very, very well. It still gets 7 liters per 100. I daily drive it back and forth to work, and it's a great little reliable car. It makes all the turbo noises, and it's good. This is a 2003 Wolfsburg, so it's top trim other than the GLI Jetta of its era. So it has the 1.8T and a 5-speed, heated seats, sunroof, all of the good options, cruise control, air conditioning. It's fully loaded. This was top of the line Jetta back in 2003.
So the guy that I work with, this was his first car, and he decided that he was going to upgrade, and he went out and he bought an Audi S3. He posted this car for sale for $4,000, and it had a little bit of rust on the fenders, and everybody that showed up didn't want it because it had that little bit of rust. They assumed it was a rusty car. And I said to him, 4,000's too much for me. You let me know when it's $1,000 and I'll take it off your hands. Well, 2 weeks later, he walks up to me and he's like, it's $1,000 now. And I'm like, bet. So I handed him $1,000, and I took it home and I started driving it around, and I put a great big shark mouth on the side of it, and it was wild looking, and it's all lowered out, and it was loud and crazy. And then I decided I was going to paint it like this, and he gets to see it every day. He does not like the car.
Tell me about what you did on the inside of the car.
Not a whole lot. We have an aftermarket radio. I wrapped a couple of interior pieces with some fabric, and I've replaced the shift knob. Otherwise, it's fairly stock in there too. Mostly nice little driver. So back here, we pulled the spoiler off of my brother's race car and modified it to fit. We added some more patina on the trunk and across the back. It actually won an award at the Berlin Classic this year, which is very surprising. The Berlin Classic is the biggest Euro car show in Ontario.
Dad was a mechanic right from 20 years old on, and about the time I was born, he started racing stock cars, and he was doing 300 lap endurance races, which was pretty cool. And then 1999 rolled around and he built his first real race car, and we've been at the racetrack ever since. Then I started when I was 13, my brother started when he was 13. We've been doing racing for a long time. Dad raised us to fix our own stuff and save $1, and we've been going since then. He told me that his body was falling apart from being a mechanic for so many years, so I decided I'd be a painter, and now my body's falling apart too. But yeah, we were raised in the automotive world, so like wrenching is no stranger to us.
I'd like to thank our sponsor today, Nick from Clark Automotive. He's located here in Holstein, Ontario. And Nick, just tell me a little bit about your shop.
Yeah, so we specialize in just typical general repair. We do a lot of tires, steering, suspension, brakes, a lot of exhaust work. We do actually have a custom tubing bender, so we can do classic car exhaust, and if that exhaust pipe for your car at the dealer is $1,900, we can usually get it in your car for $400 or $500 instead.
Okay, so you're basically a go-to guy for anybody who needs regular car maintenance here in the region.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
But you don't do only that, you also specialize in stock cars?
Yeah, so we do a lot of stock car fabrication as well. We do some bone stocks, a lot of front-wheel drive GMs like Chevy Cobalts, Chevy Cavaliers, Sunfires, stuff like that. We've got one here in the far corner over there. We're in the middle of putting a front clip on it and hit the wall and destroyed all the front frame rails, so we're redoing that right now.
That's great. And then where might this race?
So this car itself, it races at Flamborough Speedway just outside of Hamilton, but we do a lot for guys that run at Varney Speedway just north of here actually, as well as Sauble Speedway, and we do a little bit of work for some guys over at Delaware just outside of London as well.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for lending us your shop.
Perfect, sounds good. Thank you.
Great, thanks man. Learning a little bit more about this myself, I learned that there's Jamie Orr in the States, who's like an avid collector of the Golfs and the Polo. And the reason why I bring him up is because he's customized a modern vehicle. So having this look is not exclusive anymore to just a Golf or a Polo. It just yells at you, yep. Let's have some fun.
People love it or they hate it, and I'm game either way as long as it's getting attention.
There you go, as long as it's getting attention. Great, well thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.